That brief moment before sunrise. The air is still. There is no movement in the treetops. Along the horizon, an intense glow and the chorus of 1,000 birds heralding the rising sun. High up on the mountaintops, the clean, clear air brings a freshness to the new day. And any somber clouds draping the land in shadow slowly evaporate into the morning's warmth. With the dawn, the Scenic Rim has become a range of light and color. The sunlight picking out the sculpted peaks, the stark cliffs, and the green cloak of the forests. But nothing is more colorful than the wildflowers of spring. The banksias intermingle with a host of other flowers in the heaths of the high ridges. And of all the flowers, it is the acacia or wattle that creates the brightest display. Along the open and sunny streams grow the bright red clystemons, or bottle brushes. Here on these broad and open creek banks, there is plenty of sunlight, which these flowers love. But further upstream, much further upstream, above the big rapids and the cascades, where these mountain streams begin, there is only the shady reaches where the subtropical rainforest crowds in all round. The high rainfall charges these streams, and the steep terrain provides the stage for a spectacular display as these massive flows tumble down towards lower ground. The surrounding forest, always moist from the fine incessant spray or frequent rain showers, is home to countless plant species, making it the most complex and diverse terrestrial ecosystem. From the smallest ferns to the largest trees, all are interrelated, all in some way depending on one another. Yet, as well, all striving skywards in competition for the sunlight. And always through the forest, somewhere the distant sound of running water, tumbling over cascades hidden deep within the forests, tumbling down to the deep valley floors far below. These mountains are a home to countless waterfalls, each one spectacular. All with a character of their own. They are one of the many treasures found deep within the mountain ranges. To venture into these Antarctic beach forests when the mists have descended is like returning to prehistoric times. An eerie quietness pervades all. A stark contrast to the more open forests found on the drier slopes. A cool winter's walk or a climb through these open forests is a very enjoyable experience. Here the xanthorrhea or grass tree grows in profusion, as do myriad eucalypts, all with a different textured surface. The deeply furrowed bark of the ironbarks, the more fibrous covering of the stringy barks, or the smooth and polished white bark of the mountain gums. The eucalypts grow to the tops of the highest peaks, and from these vantage points, the view goes on forever. But unfortunately, the days do not. Just as predictably as it rose, the sun will soon go down over the Scenic Rim. The stark profile of Mount Barney against the changing hues of the twilight. Another day silently slips away. But there will be others, and each one will be different. In a wilderness so vast, with the seasons ever changing, you will find that here, there is always something more. Always a new secret to discover. An isolated gorge, deep in the heart of the Scenic Rim. Not very far from civilization, but it could be another world. In the grey light of dawn, fleeting glimpses of a vast wilderness begin to appear. Another night is drawing to a close. High overhead, the first pale hint of early morning lights up the high peaks of Mount Barney. Slowly, the light will filter down into the dark canyons, and the whole wilderness will come to life. Mount Barney lies at the heart of the Scenic Rim, that spectacular chain of mountains only a short distance to the south of Brisbane. It is one of the highest peaks in the area and certainly the most spectacular. The mountain's rocky spurs and cliffs are a haven for those energetic enough to climb them. And here on the sculpted eastern side of the mountain, there are at least a half a dozen steep rocky ridges waiting to be scaled by the fit and the skilled. There are other mountains too. Nearby Mount Lindsay with its most distinctive shape, resembling a castle or a many-tiered wedding cake. Further west, the main range presents a long chain of towering ramparts and peaks with names like Mount Superbus, Mount Asplenium, Huntley, and Spices. Further north, the peaks of Mount Mitchell and Mount Cordeaux stand as sentinels overlooking the deep saddle known as Cunningham's Gap. And on the western ridges lies the formation known as the Steamers, for its resemblance to a large ocean-going liner. From this vantage point, we look past the mast and funnel to the large domed prow, plunging through a stormy sea of green eucalypts and distant blue mountainous waves. The rocky peaks attract those skilled in the art of rock climbing. Here on Mount Barney, two classic ridges, Logan's Ridge and Southeast Ridge, follow the skyline on either side of the precipitous eastern face all the way to the summit. Beneath these ridges, the huge east face falls away for nearly 300 meters. It is the biggest and steepest slab of rock in southeast Queensland. Nearby, Mount Maroon's east face is similar. Here it is possible to almost get lost amongst the huge expanses of rock. Very little vegetation grows in this harsh environment. Further east and nearer the coast, where the moist sea breezes blow, the rainfall is more plentiful. The high peaks of Lamington are clad in dense subtropical rainforest. This is the home of thousands of waterfalls. Elabana Falls, one of the most beautiful. The Coomera Falls, undoubtedly the most spectacular. And Goomalara Falls, just one amongst many which tumble from the high Springbrook Plateau. The rainforest is primarily a story about trees. Big trees, whose strange buttressed roots radiate many meters in all directions. And none is stranger and more mysterious than the Antarctic beech. A rare species now, and a relic remaining from colder times. The forest has many small secrets as well, if you take the time to look closer. The mountains have many moods, ones that flood all the senses, not just the eyes. And no mood can be more grand than a summer thunderstorm, for it is these mountains which generate the fury and charge it with a terrifying presence. I could go on, but that would leave nothing for you to discover. I could show you a secret waterfall, or perhaps a rocky outcrop from where the best sunsets can be seen. But that would spoil your adventure. Just remember, these mountains and these forests are filled with 1,000 mysteries, ones that you must discover for yourself. For only then will you come to really know the forests, the valleys, the mountains. And when you do, you will also realize you are only at the beginning. For not only are the mountains endless, but the secrets they hold as well.